Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us here at SuperInvestor.
Thank you for having me.
Where do you think this industry is at in terms of diversity? Because I know it's a passion for you. It's something that you have been working towards and wanting to improve for a long time. Where do you think they've got to now?
It's an excellent question and something that's continually evolving. What I would say is that we're making progress. I think we've definitely seen a step shift in terms of intentionality, certainly in the past 2 to 3 years. But with less than 2% of assets globally, which if you track that number 10 years ago, probably would have been at the same level, we still have a ways to go instead of in terms of putting money to work, right? Like to actually see action. But what we're encouraged by is the number of clients that we're investing with that over the last couple of years have really done the hard work of going to what we consider the fundamentals of any portfolio and thinking about working governance processes, working on your investment policy statement, and so that intentionality, can last going forward. And so we think that the future, we're optimistic about it.
Jasmine, you're obviously passionate about this area, and in your view, what does good look like? What would be an ideal result for you?
It's something that's continually evolving. I think largely our investment universe and portfolios, we think, should be reflective of the communities that we operate in and investing, and really represent a global set of opportunities. If we look at the data from the Knight Foundation paper, 2% of assets globally are invested with women of color, but if you look deeper, they actually represent 10% of the investment options that are available. And so not only are we under investing versus populations, but also even to the options that are on the table. And so 2 years ago, Cambridge Associates, we set the goal of doubling our assets with women and people of color based on our at least being on par with the industry. Now, our long-term hope is that by the time we get there, that the industry continues to grow, and that broadly within asset management, we should be reflective of the society at large, and those numbers should significantly increase.
Tell me why that they should increase, because in an environment like this where there's so many challenges, every opportunity should be seized upon, shouldn't it?
Exactly.
So tell me about that. I mean, why is it so important, and what will the end result be in your view?
So if we think about just investing in general, right, one of our fundamental principles that we live by is the power of diversification. What I would say is that doesn't just stop at asset classes, right? Particularly if we think about private portfolios, by and large, what you're buying are individuals' networks, their ability to source deals, their ability to recognize opportunities. And so when we're building portfolios, we want those to be reflective of a global set of opportunities. And so we would argue that not only do we want diversification across sectors, industries, asset classes, but also the investors that we're partnering with.
How optimistic are you about what's happening across the industry? You talked there about what Cambridge Associates have done. What have you seen elsewhere that's making you feel positive about what's happening in private equity?
So specifically in private equity, what I've been encouraged by is the response from GPs. So we began surveying all of our investment managers that we partner with in about 2019. And so now we have data for approximately one full fundraising cycle. And what I've been encouraged by is the responses we were getting in 2019 are not the responses we're getting in 2022. And so it's become, relinquishing data has become much more table stakes. But when we're looking into that data, we're using it solely as a starting point for a conversation. And when we're now speaking to GPs, they understand the benefits of diversity, that it goes beyond head counting. So we're seeing investors start to think about, what does the diversity of the boards of my portfolio companies look like? What does the diversity of the staff in my portfolio company look like? How can we be more intentional there? What does our own firm look like? And so really, GPs are thinking about it from a total ecosystem perspective, and that's really the point.
You've got a hugely influential crowd here at SuperInvestor, 1,300 people from the industry gathered together. You'll have a lot of conversations this week. What do you hope is people's key takeaway from having chatted to you?
What I hope is the takeaway is that ultimately the success here is going to take all of us. That this diversifying the industry cannot be beholden, right, to the 2% of women and people of color that are check writers in the industry. That for us to be successful and for us to all produce more as an industry, we all really have to have buy-in, for all of us to do better. And so that's a lot of the conversations that I'm having here.
Well, it's been lovely to have a conversation with you, Jasmine. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.